When most people think about the Eiffel Tower, they think about romance, lights, and Paris at night. It's one of the most visited monuments in the world, and probably the most recognizable landmark in France. But the truth is, the Eiffel Tower wasn't always loved. In fact, when it was first built, many people hated it. Some wanted it destroyed. Others believed it would permanently ruin the beauty of Paris. So how did something once called an iron monster become a global symbol of love and elegance? Let's take a closer look at the real story behind the Eiffel Tower and the surprising secrets hidden in its past. The tower that shocked Paris. The Eiffel Tower was built for the 1889 World's Fair in Paris. The event celebrated 100 years since the French Revolution. France wanted to show the world its power, innovation, and industrial progress. Engineer Gustave Eiffel designed the tower. His plan was bold. A 300-meter iron structure that would be taller than anything the world had ever seen. Today, that sounds impressive. But in the 1880s, it sounded outrageous. More than 300 artists and intellectuals signed a public letter protesting the construction. They called it ugly, useless, and an embarrassment to Paris. Some compared it to a giant smokestack towering over the city's historic buildings. Many Parisians believed it would destroy the city's beauty forever. And here's something most people don't realize. The Eiffel Tower was only meant to stand for 20 years. After 1909, it was supposed to be taken down. It was never meant to become permanent. So why is it still there today? The answer has nothing to do with romance. It was saved because of science and the military. As technology developed, the tower became useful for radio communication. Antennas were added to the top, turning it into a powerful transmission point. During World War I, it played an important role. French forces used it to intercept German radio messages. This helped the military track enemy movements and gain important advantages. Without that strategic value, the tower likely would have been dismantled. It survived because it was useful, not because it was beautiful. The hidden apartment at the top. One of the most interesting secrets of the Eiffel Tower is something few people know about. At the very top, Gustave Eiffel built a private apartment for himself. While many wealthy people offered to rent it, he refused. Instead, he used it as a quiet space for work, relaxation, and scientific experiments. He even welcomed famous guests there, including inventor Thomas Edison. Imagine sitting at the top of the tallest structure in the world at that time, looking out over Paris. The apartment still exists today, preserved as it was more than a century ago. Most visitors never see it. Hidden above millions of tourists is a small room that reminds us the tower was more than a tourist attraction. It was a place of innovation. A record-breaking structure. When it was completed in 1889, the Eiffel Tower became the tallest man-made structure in the world. It stood about 300 meters tall, and with antennas today, it reaches around 330 meters. For over 40 years, it held the record as the tallest building on Earth. That record was finally broken in 1930 by the Chrysler Building in New York. But for its time, the Eiffel Tower was a masterpiece of engineering. It was built using more than 18,000 pieces of iron and millions of rivets. Everything had to fit together perfectly, and its shape wasn't just for looks. The curved design helped it resist wind pressure. Engineers carefully calculated how air would move around the structure to prevent it from collapsing. In the late 1800s, this level of engineering was extraordinary. The tower that changes size. Here's something surprising. The Eiffel Tower actually changes height. Because it's made of metal, it expands in the heat. During hot summer days, it can grow by up to 15 centimeters. In colder weather, it shrinks again. It's not something you can notice easily, but it's happening constantly. The tower isn't completely still. It reacts to temperature, sunlight, and wind. In a way, it's alive. World War II and occupation. During World War II, Paris was occupied by Nazi Germany. When Adolf Hitler visited the city in 1940, something unusual happened. Before his arrival, French resistance fighters cut the elevator cables of the Eiffel Tower. This meant that if Hitler wanted to reach the top, he would have had to climb hundreds of steps. He never made the climb. During the occupation, a large Nazi flag was placed on the tower but strong winds reportedly tore it down. Later, when Paris was liberated in 1944, the French flag was raised again. The tower had become more than a monument. It had become a symbol of national pride and resistance. The man who sold the Eiffel Tower. In 1925, a clever con artist named Victor Lustig managed to pull off one of the boldest scams in history. He convinced scrap metal dealers that the French government planned to dismantle the Eiffel Tower and sell it for scrap. Posing as a government official, he secretly negotiated the sale. One businessman believed him and paid. Lustig took the money and disappeared. The victim was so embarrassed that he didn't report the crime. Encouraged by his success, Lustig even tried to repeat the scam. It sounds unbelievable, but the Eiffel Tower has actually been sold more than once. From hated to iconic. Today, the Eiffel Tower is one of the most visited landmarks in the world. Millions of people travel to Paris every year just to see it. It lights up the night sky. It appears in movies, advertisements, and proposals. But its story reminds us of something important. Great ideas are not always welcome at first. The Eiffel Tower was criticized, mocked, and almost destroyed. Yet it survived. Over time, opinions changed. What was once called an eyesore became a masterpiece.